Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, and I want to welcome you to another very special edition of Trends in the Housing Market. What is happening in the housing markets all over the Commonwealth? Broadcasting from Merritt, British Columbia. I want to thank everyone for tuning in from the Commonwealth, from New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand, from all of New Zealand, across the pond to all of Australia, northwest to the United Kingdom, and across the pond over to Canada, and down south to the United States of America. And broadcasting to basically every English-speaking country that has YouTube, and giving it, a little twist on the housing market, discussing trends that are happening and what is happening. There is a lot happening, and it's the same patterns, and it's basically, it almost feels like a global takeover in a way. I got some pretty important articles we want to get over first. The two big stories are actually from China in the housing market. So what is happening? Let me just take a little sip here of water. I got to wet my beak. Pure Gosto says, Mike, you are always hustling. Do you ever take a break? Oh, yeah. I was playing video games today at the store. What did I do? I watched a movie. Like, at the shop. Today was busy in the morning, but it was, yeah. So that's that. So I do take a break. I do take my time for, I do this show tonight, and I'm done for tonight for videos, and tomorrow morning I do something, You should play World of Warcraft. No, I play that, like, in high school, or late high school. I never cared for that crap. I never really got addicted to video games. I just like playing handheld systems. Anyways, okay, so what is going on, people? Well, here it is here. We got some big stories coming out here. We got, first, let's start with the channel plug. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Here that is right here, trends in the housing market going back years. We're going back years now in trends in the housing market, covering the entire Commonwealth. Can't read market talk. America is officially in a recession, guys. We can go ahead and debate it as long as you want. And what else we got here? Morning Coffee with Mike. Housing crisis stories here, liar loans in Australia, all kinds of cool stuff. Don't forget to tip me in the tip jar up top here. There's a tip jar. And don't forget to, if you want to support me on Patreon, I lost a Patreon supporter. I'm back to 16. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It's Mike Martins Official, all one word here, Mike Martins Official. So go ahead and follow me on that if you guys can, if you want to just get photos and stuff, I guess. And what else we got going on? So let's look at our big stories right here. Our big story comes from, I'm going to move this ahead here. It's actually from China. So this is actually very important because this might change the landscape of north central California, I guess, northern California. Can China's Greater Bay Area offer a relief to Hong Kong's housing woes? China's Greater Bay Area plan to link Hong Kong and Macau with 9 mainland Chinese cities could play a role in attracting workers and retirees. So Canada's playing this game too, right? So Greater Bay Area offer relief to Hong Kong housing woes. So is this from California, or is this? Rising property prices have a lack of affordability housing has Hong Kong residents exploring the wider Greater Bay Area for their next property investment, either for holiday homes or a place to retire, although it remains to be seen if China's development can play an indirect part in easing the city's housing crisis. So here it is, guys. They want to start to see easing of the housing crisis, right? So this is the Greater Bay. Is an ambitious plan. Let's see if this is okay. This is in China. Okay, so what I thought this was, I thought they're going to bring in more wealthy Chinese into the Bay Area, and that's what I thought the story was about, and that's why I got it out. So let's close this off. It's not what I thought. It's actually in China itself. Now another big story, and this one's huge, because a lot of investors and a lot of people banked on this, was China's spenders are saving. That's a problem for everyone. Right now, Chinese consumers are saving money now. They're not buying properties anymore. They're taking it easy. And this is a huge problem. So it's not the capital outflows from China getting strapped. It's now the Chinese aren't spending money anymore. The spenders are saving. And this is a huge problem for our housing crisis, right? So this is kind of a problem here, right? So we got Kevin Thompson. Stock market is crashing. Woo! This morning, I covered that this morning on Can't Read Market Talk. Daniel O'Brien said he can't stay long. So who wants to come on the show, guys? Come on, it's open lines tonight. Who wants to come on the show? Who hasn't been on the show in a while? Who wants to come on the show? Want some fresh blood here? Getty Medeiros in the house here. Maybe we should get Gary on. Maybe we get Gary on. He's been posting a lot over to the Vancouver housing collapse there on Facebook, or Toronto housing collapse on Facebook there. Gary, if you want to come on the show, buddy, shoot me a message, man. I'd like to have you on the show to give us a little bit of insight on what is happening on your neck of the woods, or your mission to find a place to buy, a mission to find something. So China's spenders are saving, and that's a problem, guys. Chinese consumers, a $4.9 trillion force, transformed the global economy. With their own economy slowing, they are pulling back. There you go. $4.9 trillion. They transformed the global economy. They basically, what they did was they went out and spent in the free markets, and we got decimated. So many families displaced. So many cities turning into empty shells. Just so much displacement in the English-speaking world. And we can thank our politicians for selling us out on this. This is a big deal. Our politicians basically, we want more investors. We want more investors to buy our housing. And that crippled everybody. 60,000 sales in the GTA. Now there's San Francisco, Hong Kongers are arriving in Canada. Quite a few actually per day. We're not sure what it is, and they're coming in and looking at purchasing a property in Canada, because Hong Kong right now it's dissolving. It's basically going to be taken over. I don't want it to. I don't want it to be taken over, because Hong Kong is one of the biggest financial hubs on the planet, and a banking hub. It's like the huge. It's the gateway to the financial world, and I don't want to see Hong Kong get taken over by communist state there, communist regime. So you're going to see a lot of Hong Kongers relocate to Canada. There's about 800,000 of them right now in Hong Kong that have Canadian passports. Market O'Brien saying, we are getting no info on the housing market. Sales are up year over year. Real Kevin Thompson says 56,000 sales last year. So that's what's happening with that. Now, let's move on to Canadian politicians promise to bring more risk to housing. Part 1, the Liberals. So politicians, you know what they're all about, and their number one platform, or the number one thing they're looking for, I guess, is a platform to get themselves elected. And housing, a lot of big parties are avoiding the housing situation. Oh, don't worry if you can't afford and you're sleeping on the streets and you work full-time and have a degree. Nobody cares. But it's kind of funny, when they want their student loan money back, but you can't get a job because you have nowhere to live, So here it is. Canadian politicians are promising everything but the kitchen sink in the 2019 federal election, although there are still 19 days, so don't rule out the kitchen sink subsidies. Most notable to our readers is obviously their housing platforms. A wide range of readers, from fund managers to millennial buyers, have asked for our take on the specific platform. So here it is. First-time homebuyer incentive, the sequel. So this first-time homebuyers lets you purchase, and it says right here, if reelected, is this the Liberals here? Okay. By letting you buy less of the house, the government kicks in 10% of the price, and you pay back their share with your profits/loss only. Housing making less than $120,000 per year can qualify. So only households making less than $120,000 per year can qualify for this. The mortgage also can't exceed 4 times the household income. So there it is. So you got to buy a house in Vancouver or the Lower Mainland. Never mind Vancouver. Vancouver, Burnaby, Surrey, all the way up to Hope. You can't buy nothing for $400,000. So good luck with that, guys. And if reelected, they plan to expand the program for Toronto, Victoria. So all the areas that are completely bought out, this is a plan they want to expand. And it's more fake money, more Ponzi scheme, on top of more invisible money and more free money. The program is designed to stimulate demand and not increase affordability. Of course it is. Yeah, look at these big sales, man. It's a big investment opportunity, man. You could buy that bungalow in Vancouver for $5.5 million, 2,000 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Woo! All right. The program was a helicopter money to the real estate industries to prop up or inflate prices by providing a part of the down payments. The government is pulling demand forward. This is those that would have bought in a few years after saving enough for a down payment don't have to do that. They could buy today. Yeah, buy today. Go ahead and see what happens in 2 years. The government will invest in the purchase. Dope. What's the issue? By combining 2 cohorts of buyers and the government is creating more demand, the combined demand can increase competition. There you go. Which increases prices. The government knows this, which is why they've capped the price at the chosen amounts. The current limits are designed for the FBI. Doesn't inflate Toronto or Vancouver by raising the limits. They're attempting to artificially stimulate demand in those very markets. I don't know if anyone's read this today, because this is why this is the problem. Chinese spenders are saving, and that's a problem. Chinese consumers, a $4.9 trillion force that transformed the global economy, with their own slowing down, they are pulling back. This is not going to work in Toronto! Wages need to drive housing prices. If people don't make enough money to get in the market, Merry Christmas! It's over! Hasta la vista! And, okay, let's read some comments here. Kevin Thompson's blabbing on. Mr. State Free said, greetings from Sydney, BC. That's Sydney, British Columbia. Thank you. Greetings. Thomas says, sent you a comment on your other show. Just keep going and stay strong. You got my support. Thank you, Thomas. Shot Clip says, Canada's toast without rich people migrating there. TikTok. So, yeah, it's not going to... And you know the ones that default later? They're going to run back to their countries. And we're going to get the bill to pay. Woo! The umpire's poll said, yep, most can't afford homes in many places, especially near or around cities. Near, you got to go 200 miles to get something. High real estate prices, wages too low. Woo! Real Kevin Thompson says, basement rental. Kevin O'Brien says, I only know that my tycoon real estate guy said to my wife, nothing is going on here. Yeah, man, there's no, this is good, man. This is so good, man. You got nothing to see here, I say. Listen to me, man. Rainier Mola says, shot clips. I think the rich people will always keep coming to Canada. No, there's like little secluded parts of Europe people could still go to. It's quiet, it's niche, it's expensive, and it's very quaint. Little secluded parts of like Costa Rica, secluded parts in Central America. That's like only for specific people and there's tennis courts and it's guarded by armed guards. There's all kinds of places you could go to, like in Central America, South America, even parts of there's a lot of places you could go where you don't have to come to Canada and buy a $5.5 million 2-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow, 2,000 square feet. Woo! No, it's 1 bathroom. 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. If you saw that video, go back to my channel and check it out, and you tell me. Juggernauts is saying our country is doomed. Mr. State Free says great information and energy as always. Thanks, Mr. State Free. Real Kevin Thompson saying Canada has high tax. That's about time he says something right. Get robbed with taxes. Yeah, so when property prices go down and they need to actually stimulate the economy, or not stimulate their spending, the government spending, guess what they're going to do? They're just going to raise property tax again, and they've been doing it for the last 2 years. Woo! All right. The ADDA was considered odd at the time. Nobody cares. First-time homebuyer credits, FTHC. This one here is cute. First-time homebuyer credit is another program rolled out in the U.S. for down payment help. The program gave interest-free down payment help to stimulate the market. It was 2008 after all. And home prices had fallen unprecedented 5% from the peak. The correction was infamously declared contained by the Federal Reserve. Yes. First program rolled out to lower incomes to not rewrite inflated expense tax markets. In 2008, the program was extended to households making less than $150,000 per year. When they ran out of buyers to pull forward, this is what happened. We ran out of buyers a long time ago, and that's becoming a problem. Unless they could get more people here from Hong Kong, there's about 800,000 to have Canadian passports. So that's gonna keep it probably going until maybe the summer of next year in Canada. So we'll keep an eye on that. Oh, come and buy this condo in Toronto. 800,000. Woo! Yeah, you're like 2 blocks, 5 blocks away from Skydome. But you can't go because you can't buy tickets. Because your strata fee is $1,100 a month. Woo! And your property tax is $800 a month. No, well, property tax $300 a month. But you know what I mean, right? Nerd, who cares if it works? It works right. Sure, lowering the size of a mortgage always makes the payment lower, but that might not be the case. Programs like this are often billed as demand inductment schemes. Canada's billing it as affordability measures. It is on odd interpretation on old programs. So I think it was there was a country that did this many years ago, just after World War I. It was a country that did this after World War I because they were really having a tough time. And not because it was expensive, but people weren't making enough money. So instead of increasing wages, the governments were subsidizing and helping people buy homes. But you didn't have to pay back to the government. So, and there was another country, I know in northern Portugal, they were giving away free homes to people to renovate and live in them for free, provided they fix them up and clean them, right? In northern Portugal, to populate certain areas there outside, maybe 80 miles east of Porto before you reach Spain. They kind of populated it up there, and a lot of people fixed the houses really nice, got some land, and all they do is pay the electricity, utilities, and keep the economy going in some parts, right? Okay, Spencer Chapman, yeah, I saw that article. Canada's ranked 5th now. Yeah, I think I have it here now. The tycoon depends on the sales from out of the area, including the Bay Area. Real Kevin Thompson says to buy now. See, Kevin Thompson is a very well-connected man. He has ties to the Central Intelligence Unit, and he has ties to the Italian Mafia, and it's also rumored that he was in prison in Shanghai for 2 years. Anyways, let's move on here. Yes, Canada is offering free tacos if you buy a house. That's correct. That's in our community section of our channel. Toronto actually has the most overvalued homes in all of North America. You see this house right here, guys? This is one house. This is another house, and that's another house. There's 3 homes there. Do you know how much this house is here? $1.9 million. You could buy an entire hotel, like all-inclusive resort for that much in Mexico. I'm not kidding you. I know an all-inclusive hotel resort. It's a little bit old. It's from the late 80s. It's got 3 little low-rise hotels. It's got a lot of land. It's got beachfront. It's got all kinds. And they're trying to sell it for $1.6 million Canadian. My friend looked at it and called me and said, "Do you want to go on this?" And look, yeah, no, I'm not in the mood to go to Mexico right now. I already lived there for 2 years. I speak Mexican. It's nice and all, but we're never going to really own that property, even though, you know, we're never going to own it, right? That's why a lot of Chinese don't go to Mexico, is because they know they can never own property there because it's like their own country. Like, if I go to China and I want to buy, let's say, a hotel, they won't sell it to me. I'm a foreigner. They won't touch me. I'm a foreigner. Same thing with Thailand. So there's a lot of countries that do that. Daniel O'Brien says, we never get the straight scoop on real estate until the collapse hits. That's exactly right. It's how when a politician loses the election, he goes back on election day and trace back from the day he lost and go back into the beginning of the election to find out where he went wrong. The same thing with the housing crisis and a crash. Same thing with the market crash. They trace it back from the loss, and then they start, but they're going to mention everything I said on this channel over the years. Free first-time homebuyer loans, interest-only mortgages, bringing in more rich investors. Oh, there's a crisis in Hong Kong. Let's bring in more rich people. Let's sell out Canada. Let's property taxes, this, that. It all adds up, right? So we got Red Pill Millennial here. Spencer says, buy it, Mike. Real estate always goes up. Yeah, for Kevin Thompson, it does. A global real estate study just released new data about housing markets all over the world, and Toronto's housing bubble takes the cake in North America. Toronto ranked number 2 after Munich for the most... Wait, Munich's in North America? Okay. Okay, second in the world. Munich for most overvalued houses in the world, and is showing no signs of slowing down. Woo! Woo! You see, maybe in Toronto, people are making like $300,000 a year. So all they have to do is save for 3 years, and they can put a down payment on a house. And here I am in Little Merritt, and I'm just trying to, trying to understand what is going on in these other cities, because I'm in a small town, guys. I have maybe 2 stoplights in my town, 1 post office, 1 stalker. You know what I'm saying? It's good, right? But this is what I want. I want peace of mind, right? So Kevin Thompson, guys, in the house there. Yeah, Kroger cutting hundreds of jobs by Low Roll Scratcher in the thing. I covered the was it last night? I covered the whole Freightliner laying off people too. Or was it Peterbilt? It was Freightliner, yeah. All right, here it is, guys. So, yeah, it is ranked. This means that pricing in Toronto housing is way higher than the properties should actually be worth. Guys, do you look go back to this video if you actually want to laugh your pants off. I got a video here. Let me go to my videos. It's from about a week and a half ago now. It's called the housing ripoff. Yeah, friggin' housing ripoff right here. Untrimmed. This guy right here, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2,000 square feet, $5.5 million. That's in Vancouver. Toronto is even more. Woo! The house was built in 1910. Yep, so that's it right there, guys. And then I went into properties you could buy for less than 300 grand for the savings you save on that house, because they dropped the price. And with the savings alone, you could buy all these. Then I go back to that. Look what you could buy for $1 million in the States. $1 million. I told you they look like hotel resorts. Look, like those resorts you go to when you go on vacation. But everyone thinks I'm lying and making stuff up. $5.5 million. I buy the Lamborghini. Watch this video. It's called Housing Ripoff. Watch it later this evening, guys. It's about basically me talking about what I would buy instead of buying this. Instead of buying this house here. Sorry, where is it again? Instead of buying... Come on, man. Instead of buying this house for $5.5 million, I go over and show you the plane I'll buy, and then I'll still have $2 million left over at the end, and still buy that house and still have $2 million left over with a Lamborghini and 3 Jeeps. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the Empire's Post says those are insane real estate prices. Some of these foreigners must be tied to their government money printing. Yeah. That's $5.5 million monopoly money. You know, $5.5 million in monopoly money might cost you like $3,000 or $4,000 to buy that much monopoly money. So I wouldn't even pay $5.5 million monopoly money for this house. It's 2,000 square feet, 2 beds. That's not the inside. Sorry. $5.5 million, 2 beds, 2 bath, 2,000 square feet. It's got 2 baths. I thought it had 1. Yeah, Forever 21's closing. I covered that too. Guys, check out the channel. Everything's here. Don't forget to check out this one. I got a cease and desist here on audio. This one's really good. It's got almost 1,000 views on it. The guy that's been stalking me in town has written me a cease and desist. So check that out, man. Okay, let's go back to business here. All right, so Toronto, most overpriced. And then the Financial Pulse covers the same thing. Too expensive. I like depicting the father and the son going like this. Well, son, in 25 years after working full time with your job, and you're patting him on the head, after 25 years making $100,000 a year, you'll have enough money to put a down payment on a house in 25 years, son. Good for you. I'm proud of you. Woo! Yeah. So, but guys, you want to know how to fix this problem? Housing problem risk index shows Toronto worsening, Vancouver improving. They always have a way to make people feel comfortable in the cities they're in. And so housing risk is high everywhere. It's in dangerous levels everywhere. There's oversupplies on the markets, and they're telling you how many homes are selling, but they're not telling you how many homes are on the market and how long it will take to flip over all that inventory. They're not telling you everything. You know what I'm saying? Belinda Mercer is in the comments. We got who else? We got Red Pill Millennials here. Owen says Owen's in the house too. So let's go to what France. I want to kind of cover this because France is really playing. They're not playing games. So guys, if you just came in, I think this is the biggest story, bigger than the market crashing, the stock market. This is actually the biggest story right now, and it's from today's date. China's spenders are saving. That's a problem for everyone. Chinese consumers with $4.9 trillion force transform the global economy with their own economy slowing. They are pulling back. So now with foreign investing pretty much pulling back and the capital restriction outflows coming out of China, we're going to see a lot of problems right now. A lot of problems. Because now these cities, look, this is like a major city downtown, empty shells. So speaking of empty shells, let's go to an older Better Dwelling article. Oh, right here. Right here. We're going to search Better Dwelling. Let's see if we could find it through Better Dwelling. Let's see if we can find the article. Oh, they're not. Okay, it's not coming up on Better Dwelling. I gotta look it up on Google. It's from Better Dwelling. There we go. So this is the problem to solve right here. Paris targets vacant second homes with 60% tax. So if someone owns a second home in Paris, vacant, goodbye, Charlie. And there was one guy from the mainland China that actually owned 24 houses in Paris. Yeah. And Paris was turning into an empty shell. Cities worldwide are faced the obstacle of artificial shortage. Right here. This is it right here. This is what trends in the market has been about since day one. Artificial shortage. Oversupply on the markets. Of housing created by part of vacation homes owned by the wealthiest residents that sit empty, says Better Dwelling. So here it is. Let's go back to that article there and see if it opens up. Here it is. Vacant homes are a global epidemic, and Paris is fighting it with the 60% tax. Runaway real estate speculation has been filling global capitals with vacant homes, creating artificial shortages in the world's most sought-after cities. The shortage has made local homeowners wealthy overnight, but it comes at the cost of turning lively cities into empty shells. Toronto, empty shell. Sydney, empty shells. Auckland, empty shell. Welland, empty shell. Melbourne, empty shell. Where else is turning into an empty shell? London, Dublin. I read the article for you guys last week. Dublin is changing and the locals don't like it. Yep, low roller scratcher. If it's an oversupply house, should they lower prices 80% cheaper? No, because everyone's going to lose their shirt, and that's what they don't want to happen. So now, in 2015, the French government put a tax on the empty homes in the city. So you know what they did? They didn't quite get the results they wanted, so they're tripling it now to 60%. That's what you do. And you're going to say, here's the vacant house count right here. Alrighty, guys, sit down and relax. In London alone, just London, 59,881 empty homes. Hong Kong, 42,000. Paris, 107,000 empty homes. Singapore, 29,000. Sydney, Australia, 118,000 empty homes in Sydney. 118,000. And you know how much of Australia is unlivable? Like 90% of Australia is uninhabitable. You can't live it. You can't live in those conditions. And 118,000 homes are empty in their biggest city. What does that tell you? Toronto, 99,236 empty homes. Vancouver, 66,719 empty homes. San Francisco, 30,389 empty homes. That's a lot in San Francisco because the Bay Area is only limited, right? And Los Angeles, why you have like 140,000 homeless people in the state of California? What is 150,000 homeless people in the state of California? Because you have 213,000 empty homes in Los Angeles. Just Los Angeles. This is not LA County. This is not LA County. This is Los Angeles only. So in Toronto, minimum wage is $14. Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo! That feels good. Yeah, wet in the beak here. So let's move on. Housing market spirits ahead of buyers urged to get in now. So I guess they're propping up people to get them into the markets now. So this gentleman here, Peter Costello, he's related to Abbott Costello, said interest rates won't help the economy. Interest rate cuts. No, I already said this in a video. They could lower rates to negative 9%, and Australia still to balance their budgets. That's how bad it is. That's how much fraud, bag fraud, spoofing, all this garbage they built. And now, how are we going to get out of this? So here we go. Let's move on here. So they're telling people, get into the market now. It's springtime. Well, guys, you know what? We are in October. So it is springtime in Australia right now as we are speaking. It is spring season there. So let's see what happens. Okay. Liar loans. I covered this on the channel, guys. What are liar loans? Liar loans are stated income. Stated income. Basically, you go to the bank and you tell them how much you make without proving it. That's what's happening all over Australia. After the Royal Commission went in and started sniffing around and they found all kinds of crap in there on their books. And these banks that you go in and trust these people and they're screwing you over. Holy Max. All right, let's move on. More scandals. I just read scandal somewhere. Let's see how many people we got watching. Oh, we got 61 people watching. Woo! 80% of your pay goes to rent, so does Owen saying. Red Pill Millennial says $2,400 in Toronto plus utilities for a one-bedroom. That's nice. It's going to help so many people get out of the city and then, like, maybe redevelop another area or maybe, stake some land or claim a stake somewhere and then move out. I'm just being sarcastic, people, but it's true. Ron Broomhall saying, anyone who buys now is a fool and stupid. We all know the crash is coming. Red Pill Millennial says the average wage is $38,000 a year, or millennial wage is $38,000 a year. And you know what? The funny part is the millennials are the most educated generation of all time. I barely have a high school education and I can't even read. I'm a Portuguese. So, like, my education level's, like, below the floor. It's, like, 2 feet on the ground. And the millennials I got a degree in social arts and this. And they come in and talk down to me and this and that. Yeah, so Rainier Mullins hit the nail right on the head. The Fed is doing a good job delaying the recession. We're in a recession. It's over. Over here is here, over here. Over here needs to realize or needs to take a look in whether or not he likes me or not. He can't tell. He can't tell. Hello from South Carolina. That's Aunt Gail Z and from South Carolina checking in. Hi, big hug. Belinda Mercer saying Fed is bailing out banks till October 10th. Yep, they're just doing that recycling repo thing, and you're going to start seeing the market take a hit. They're going to have to QE that a little bit more. Listen to me, I say. That's what's going to happen. So we got, what do we got here? Real Kevin Thompson, Mike would be a great construction worker. Yeah, I'm a Portuguese, man. That's what we do. We work construction, and we get deported from Canada. NAB takes another $1 billion hit as Royal Commission customer... Oh, remediation costs double. Oh, my God. Oh, sorry. Remediation costs double. Sorry. I can't even read. NAB takes another $1 billion hit. Royal Commission. Oh. So Royal Commission's in there. More than double the cost of compensating customers for years of misconduct. More than $2 billion. So remember, banks have been... Okay, let's read what it says here. In a statement to the ASX, that's the Australian Stock Exchange, NAB said its pre-tax customer-related remediation costs will be increased by another $1.2 billion on top of the existing $1 billion tally. The new remediation provision was part of a pre-tax $1.7 billion bundle of additional costs, including a new accounting treatment of software, which will drag down the 2019 full year profit to be announced next month. Wow. This is not, shares tumble. I'm going to say investors right now in these banks, the four big banks, good luck, man. Yeah, I even did a video on why Australian banks suck. Check it out on the channel. More than a third of advisors' fees to be paid back. Yeah. These Mickey Mouse advisors that are going in and telling you where to put your money and you should be investing in real estate right now because that's the place to be, need to pay their fees back. That's what they need to do in all the Commonwealth. They need to do that in the UK. They need to do that in Canada. They even need to do that in the United States of America. They need to do it in anyone that goes out there representing themselves and representing an institution and saying, listen, I know what I'm talking about, and you put your money here. And that's why I keep telling you guys, do your own research. I don't know nothing. Wake up and smell the coffee. Red Pill Millennial says, I have no student debt. Very happy. I don't either. I would have been, even when I was in high school, I asked the teacher, should I go to university or college? She goes, no, that'll be a waste of time for you, Mike. You should get into a factory and get what did she say? You should get normalized with factory work and construction work. Don't waste your time with college and university. That was the best advice that was given to me in my life. Lil Roller Scratch is saying, did you see my KFC donuts video? Fast food running out of ideas. KFC sells donuts now. I'll check it out after, buddy. I promise I will. I always watch your channel. Do you know why I watch Lil Roller Scratch's channel? Do you know why? It's because he's real. Lil Roller Scratch is a real person. He's got nothing to hide. Except not want to come on my channel. So we got Lord Humongous in the house from just outside of Denver, Colorado, in the Humongous territory. We had this morning Andrew Baker on the show. We had a couple other people this week on the show. Quite a few people come on the show this week. They never send notifications anymore. Of course they don't send notifications. Who's going to notify you to see this? You got to get notifications when people pour gravy down their pants. I have to change my channel to I'm pouring gravy down my pants segment. So every time I come on, I pour gravy down my pants, and then everybody tunes in, and then I do the show. Pest is in the house there. Lord Humongous never gets notifications. I thought the city of San Francisco had 92,000 empty homes. Oh, no, it does. It actually has 97,000 empty homes. This article, my brother, is from 2017. So you are right on that one. Sorry, guys. This is an older article, so there's more empty homes in these cities that we've covered here. Okay? No one panic. All right, here we go. So yeah. So here, more than a third of advisor fees to be back. That's good. I'm liking this. I'm actually liking this. This is good. Hit them where it counts, and that's their pocketbooks. Because nobody has any more integrity. They don't walk around. Oh, I'd be ashamed of what I'd be ashamed of what my peers would think about me. I'd be ashamed to find out what they might say about me in the paper. Nowadays, they don't care. Go ahead and smear me. I don't care. So and Gail Z is saying housing and home buying in Charleston, South Carolina is really expanding, but I try to tell my friends other places are going downhill. That's for sure. See, Charleston, we talked about that city a few months ago on the channel. Was a good city to relocate. It was Charleston and it was Fort Worth, Texas. They're good cities to relocate to because you could find a decent job. If you're self-employed, you can work from home. The property taxes are not as high as like California and other stuff. Well, California is another country, but you could make it in those cities if you got a good trade, or you're someone like myself that goes and opens a business somewhere and then kind of grows and lays some eggs, or family and grows a family, you know, plants a tree or two. Yeah, Boeing's in Charleston. That's correct. Oh, thank God, we got Lord Humongous in the house. Lord.
Yep.
How are you, my brother?
Oh, man. You know what these Mafangulos are doing here?
What are they doing there, buddy? So, guys, we got Lord Humongous from outside, just a couple of, 30, 40 miles outside of Denver. He's going to give us a lowdown on what's going on. What's going on, buddy?
Whole Denver market, right? It's been, like, dead, right, for, like, since last Christmas. Nothing's moving on inventory. Everything's still high, overly priced, way beyond what it should be. And now what they're doing is, with the rental situation, they are asking all these crazy credentials, and they're still trying to charge these outrageous rents that are like double the mortgage prices of any one of these high-priced homes. So that's how they're trapping everybody.
So if inventory is not moving, there's an oversupply on the Denver market. Do you see a mass exodus of people that can't afford to get into the market?
Yeah, and that's what's also increasing on the homeless populations and stuff. You can't even get into a crappy bedroom apartment down here. It's just ridiculous. The rents and the credentials and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing available on that end. It's like all the low end stuff is way overpriced, and it's just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. There's nothing in my area that I can find. But there's a lot of like expensive, like brand new builds. Like they built all these brand new like apartments, and they're trying to get like $2,500 a month for like a 2-bedroom dump, basically.
Dude, you could rent a 3-bedroom condo in Sarasota for $900.
I know that, but I can't go to Sarasota. I gotta stick here, bro.
I know you're still searching for that treasure you lost. I know. But you got to move on. That treasure, that treasure's going to end up consuming you.
Well, we all got to go sometime, I guess, right?
Yeah, but Lord, I kind of wish you could go further south to like Tucson or something. The weather's better. It's good for your the dryness is good for you, for your asthma, or and right. Probably even the medication that you take to help you with your your illness and stuff. That might even be cheaper down there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's just crazy, man. Nothing's moving. It's just, there's so much oversupply on these dumpy houses. I mean, it's like they got like one dumpy house and they're trying to get the same price for some brand new build that's like all custom and everything. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, because a lot of people bought at the top, buddy.
I know, and they're trying to get out. And you got to see the rental rates. They're like, all these people that bought these houses, they're trying to rent them out now too. Like they're actually like adding roommates and stuff and all this garbage.
Ooh.
It's crazy, bro.
Ooh.
It's crazy.
Ooh. So how's everything going? I know you're living off grid. Is everything okay?
Well, I'm sort of off grid, on grid, but yeah, I'm getting into another apartment. That's what we're gonna go look at pretty soon. That's why I'm just disgusted by these prices. These people gouge you, and then they keep you out of the market just enough. You know what I mean? Because I have other issues I'm dealing with at the same time. You know.
Hmm. So we got over here in Queens, New York, saying, I'm in Queens, New York. The Chinese are buying homes. Only Chinese are buying. And it goes back to the story I covered earlier this in the show, that the Chinese are no longer spending money. They're actually saving their money right now.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's like the big, and I see this, I hear this happening in all the metro high priced areas. You know, it's like these big investment groups, these hedge funds will come in and they'll buy up all this inventory and
Hmm.
just to rent it out, right? Just so they can make an extra little couple dollars and kill the economies of the world, man.
Hmm.
People need to live somewhere. You know, there's no affordable housing. You know that, and that's ridiculous, man. When they're trying to make double what it would cost you on an average mortgage, right, for rent, how does that make any sense?
Well, it makes no sense at all. Basically, what's supposed to drive the housing market is first-time buyers and wages. And if you're not using your wages to buy a house and you have to over borrow or over leverage yourself just to get into a market,
Yeah.
that's not going to work. Imagine borrowing money on leverage to buy stocks in the stock market. That would be ludicrous. That would be the craziest thing you could ever do.
Well, that's what the central banks are all doing right now. They're the ones buying all that shit back. You know, it's the all that repo madness. It's crazy. It's crazy.
What do you
All,
think of the Freightliner closing down there
uh,
in
as a as a
Ohio?
as a former truck driver, that is not good, man. That's not good at all. That means that there's no freight moving, right? And when there's no freight moving, what happens? Your energy market collapses. Your gasoline, your
Yep.
oils. It's ridiculous. How do they expect this economy to continue delivering even to the basic necessities because everything is moved by rail or truck?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's always it gets on a truck regardless, man, of whatever happens. They screwed these wages in this country, especially in America, have not kept up with inflation since the late 80s.
Right. It's about 27 years that it hasn't moved.
Yeah. And so how have we been surviving in this great economy that they call it?
I don't
I
know.
don't
Do
know.
you remember Mike in the Night last Saturday when I had that engineer, that engineer, that
Yeah.
software engineer?
Oh
And he
yeah,
told
yeah.
me, he was telling us that his wage didn't move for like 18 years.
Yeah, but he was a tech guy. I think he worked for Nortel, was it?
Nortel, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the difference is back in the day when all the tech was booming before the boom crash, you remember that one,
Yep.
right? That was all engineered shit. It's crazy, man. They do this on purpose. They keep us at these stupid wages while these other people, I don't want to say, I'm trying not to cuss, bro, but it's pissing me off, man.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
really,
I could hear the frustration in your voice, Lord Humongous.
yeah, I've had enough, man. I've had enough. Now they wonder why people snap in reality. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
One individual can only take so much of this garbage, man. I'm tired of their digital garbage, their credit rating systems, this and that. Somebody controlling what your credit is. I mean, how stupid is that? That
Hmm.
you have some agency that you never seen controls what they think your credit is worth or your social. This is like the Chinese model, man. They've been trying to implement this for decades. Now they're trying to get their wet dream.
Yeah.
You know, you are
So,
you are we humans or are we androids? What do they want?
hmm, you know what the thing is? Here's the deal, Lord, with this is that I could understand them doing this, and we covered this on Mike in the Night. I could understand them doing this if the age expectancy of the average human, let's say, was 150 years long. Let's say
Right.
it was. I could see them doing that and kind of, so if you want to skip a country for another 50 years and live somewhere else for 50 years, then another 50 years here, then this way they could track you for 150 years until you die. We only live 50, 60 years. It's not like we're living, you know what I'm saying, right, Lord?
Oh, especially in North America with the diets they fed us our entire lives, the processed garbage. I mean, it's just horrible, man. It's just horrible.
But what's the point of tracking something for 50, 60 years? For what?
What's
What's the
the track?
point?
What's the point of tracking any human for any amount of time?
Right. I get what you're saying. It would make more sense if we lived, let's say, a couple of hundred years, and then you want to flee the country because of some crimes you committed 100 years ago somewhere. So you move somewhere else and get a new driver's license and try to start over. This way they could track you. But, dude, I'm 41. In what, 20, 25, 26, 30 years, I'm going to be dead.
Right, well, hopefully not. You know, we try to do the best we can, but I mean, my dad died very young, as you know. You
Hmm.
know, just like your father did.
Hmm.
You know, the thing is why do they want to control other human beings? That's the part I can't stand. And
I
what
don't get it. It makes zero sense. It's going to take taxpayers' money to fund this. It's going to take
yeah,
tax. Yeah. It makes absolute zero sense.
what is the point? My point is being, what is their point?
You
You know
know
what I
what it
mean?
is? I bet you anything you want that a lot of these entities, they actually think that when we come home from work, Lord, or when we come doing our thing, or we're doing our own thing, that at night we go out and sell drugs and we're part of a biker gang and nobody knows about, that's what they think we're doing.
Mikey, let me tell you something. Since the time I was born, I've never been to jail. I got a zero criminal record, right?
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
always tried to do things the right way. But you know what? You know what's killed me? This is our financial system. The financial system in this world, not only America, but in this world, is so controlled and so manipulated that they want to take every little bit of power that you might have to spend or go enjoy or go feed yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're
For
the
the
ones
50, 60 years you're on this earth, could enjoy a
exactly
little bit of time while you're here, right?
right. And you know how much like free stuff I always do for people. Like I always try to give people the shirt off my back. I'm trying to be a human being, right?
Hmm.
But this system, man, this system is driving us all to be non-human like, bro. That's why you see these zombies walking around with their phones and they're so into technology and that's all they ever do, man. That's all they ever do.
And
You
and
know?
I don't get it. Like I have a cell phone, right? I got my cell
Yeah.
phone, right? I'm driving the other day. I got my cell phone. It's in my pocket, right?
Yeah.
The cop pulls me over and says, "I saw you on your phone while you were driving." I'm like, "It's impossible. It's in my left pocket. There's no way I could
Right.
slip it into my pocket." He's like, "Oh, okay,"
Right.
because I could have sworn you were on your phone. I'm like, "Dude, it's in my pocket. I'm not
Yeah.
using my phone." You know what I'm saying?
Because
It's
because all
like,
all they really are revenue generators, man. It's part of the business, dude.
mhm.
It's part of this entire man, it's like an open air prison, man. It's like an open air prison. And that's what they want. Why? So they can watch you,
Mhm.
you know? Or what are they going to get out of you? Some kind of funny money that the bank printed up that's not even legit, anyways, right?
Yeah,
It's backed by
Brenda's got its quotas. It's quotas.
yeah quotas. Yeah. I got to make the extra $5, that the guy was going to buy his lunch with, dude. So you can, get your little quota. That's all down here in the States too. It's all the same crap, man. It's all the same crap,
It's a
dude.
bunch of garbage.
It's a bunch of garbage.
Yep.
Woo!
Woo! Okay, Lord, I'm gonna
Yes.
kick you off. You
All right.
missed this morning. Can't read Market Talk was really good.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking for another place right now, so I'm kind of, in
I
between
know, I know,
things.
I know, I know, I know. Because you always contribute to that, and that's fine. Watch it when you get a chance later, okay?
All right, brother.
And
I'll
let us
check
know how
it.
your house hunting comes on. Maybe this Saturday we'll have you again on if you're available on Mike in the Night.
Right. Okay, man. Sounds good.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
That is Lord Humongous from the Humongous Wastelands. Yeah, baby. Woo! In the house on trends in the housing market. All right, let's go back to cover a bit of news here. You know what? Let me plug my own channel. All right, guys, here it is, guys. Morning Coffee with Mike. Trends in the housing market live right now. Can't read Market Talk. Freightliner layoffs. Project Tabletop episode 7's up. Liar Loans Explained. Turn on the floodlights. These are all my videos, guys. Check it out, please. Check it out. And don't forget to tip me in the tip jar if you want. And don't forget to hit me up here on Patreon. I lost a Patreon supporter. I feel very sad. I only got 16 Patreon supporters. I hope I could get 20 by Christmas. And there I am on Instagram. I love Instagram. No, I don't. Anyways, okay. Owen says he keeps sending me a link here. U.S. Code Red recession. Open link in new tab. How do you open link? I don't want to open. All right.
It was your research that's the
What? Wow, the girl on the right's pretty, man. This one in the green.
Whole reason we talk about inverted yield curves, because you were the first,
I can't
right?
believe we're still talking about my dissertation from 1986.
So guys, inverted yield curve, let me explain to you how it works, okay? Like, it's very simple. Okay, so let's say you got a 10-year bond, right? But the two-month bond is paying you more money on your money instead of holding it for 10 years in just holding it for you and paying you out at the end of the 10 years. The 2-month or the 4-month bond will give you a better return on your money than a 10-year. That's what they're trying to say. It's inverted. So you put in $1 million to invest for 10 years, you get back $1,050,000. You put in $1 million for 6 months, a year, you get back $1.7 million. So you see what I'm saying? The inverted yield curve, it's very dangerous, guys. Very dangerous.
No false signals.
Yeah.
And now we're code red. We have an inversion effectively for 2 quarters. It's really hard to ignore.
I don't want to play too much of this because it will flag my video because it is another YouTube video. So if you guys want to see it, here it is on Bloomberg Markets and Finance. And that's from today's date. Wow, my channel has more subscribers.
With recession. So empirically, this model is 7 for 7 in terms of predicting recessions, but...
Oh, yeah. These models like me and Andrew were talking about earlier, yeah. Our inverted yield curve started in May. We have 1 year from then. Yeah. That's from the Raven in the House. The Umpire's post said, hatred-filled extremists without discipline, morals, ethics also cause many problems. Yeah. Over here saying being a human is a witness. A cop can see you on your cell phone, gives you his problem cause. And then we got Vips saying they won't control y'all. Middle class is the problem. We consume big corporations, products, new phones, new cars, clothes, etc. They make all the money, hence control us. That's true. We're a consuming nation. We're all consuming nations. And we are a throwaway nation. We're a disposable nation. We throw everything away. We used to build cars back in the day to last us our lifetime. Now, you got to buy a car every 4 years because the car falls apart because it's so crap. That's why everyone's going back to 1994 Hondas and 92... CRXs and like 1989 Cavalier Z24s. Why? It's because those cars run better. They were made in America. You know what I'm saying? Phil Med said, I was born and raised in Toronto. The real estate price, rent, and cost of living here is absurd. Most of the homes appear to be converted to rooming rentals. Yeah. And common areas in Airbnb short-term. Yeah. Make mine. Have you been on any of the YouTube live stream? Make mine. Who's Make Mine? Is there someone in the comments with that name? No, I don't see them here. Over here saying Mike Martin, when you go home, you're probably playing video games. No, I have a family. I'm gonna do this show and then I'm gonna put my kids to bed. In a couple of minutes here. I got to read a story to my son. So let's get someone else on the show here. Owen, you want to call in, buddy? I need some Jamaican power here on the show, buddy. I can't do this alone, buddy. Owen, are you still awake or did you get arrested? I wonder if the Raven got arrested. He's been talking about the cameras in his town. Let's see who else is here. Yeah, anyone that's on the show has a risk of arrest. Your risk of arrest goes higher when you're on this show. Woo! Yeah, is the States falling into recession faster than Canada? Yes, it is because it's a bigger economy, and when an economy that big shows a month to 2 months or even a quarter of economy shrinkage, you know problems. There's huge problems on the books. Guys, watch this morning's video right here. Can't read Market Talk. America is in a recession.
A lot of people doing stuff like lying about, or like insider trading or getting tip-offs about like raids and like political.
So I had Andrew Baker on this morning giving us an insight on what's happening with the American recession. America's in a recession, guys. There's no questions about it. There's no questions about it. So what else we got here? We got Spencer in the comments saying, "Yep, got to keep cutting rates till we go to zero." They're going to go negative in Australia first. They're going to cut rates in Australia first. Adrian in the house. Hello, Mike and friends. Hello, Adrian. Thanks for joining us. The Raven says, I have a negative 300 credit score. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, because you see, when the Raven comes on the show, his social credit score keeps going down, right? So, okay, we got Owen. Okay, here we go. Owen messaged me here. Let me see if I can get Owen on the show. Let's see if we can find a quiet area, because I know it's 10:46 there. But I need some input on the East Coast here on what's going on, man. Come on, Owen, pick up. Owen ain't picking up. Owen isn't available. We got Mark Andre Moses in the house. What's up, buddy? Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Why don't you call into the show? I like to. Everybody in the comments needs to call into the show at least once to make themselves heard. Stephen Williams. I wonder if he's not right now, Mike. Owen can't talk right now. Miami News, Mike. All right, let's go to Miami. See what's going on. I know the market's crashing in Florida right now. Man, the average house went up so much, and then went up to almost $290,000 for the benchmark house in Florida. See, leaky air conditioner for Miami-Dade closing second public housing complex. So the closing public complex is down. For an aspiring homeowner, it doesn't get much worse. Miami Herald employees, affordable housing is a concern. Florida's 10 most expensive zip codes, mainly located, of course, in the Dade County. Miami millennials spend 5 more years living at home. Yeah, and you know what? Millennials are spending more time. Try a Toronto millennial. They spend 25 years extra living at home. Yeah. Where is Steve the plumber? I don't know, man. Last time I heard, he was pretty upset about a few things that were going on in the housing market, and he pretty much kind of disappeared after that. I had an in-depth conversation with him. No, I was going to a wedding. Yeah. I was off to a wedding, and I had to take my family. I remember, and I told him I told him to call me after, and he's been MIA since then. Let's get the Raven said he's at work. We got Supreme Cannon to do. Oh man, there's the Lost Canuck. He moved off grid. I don't think Steve the plumber moved off grid. We got hopefully the Lost Canuck will pick up, give us a little insight on what's happening. He did a housing video the other day on his channel, The 12th Disciple. So nobody available. Everybody is out and about right now. Everyone's enjoying. Everyone's out enjoying. Everyone's spending money. Let's see who we got. Supreme Cannon's here. Looks like he's online too. Who else is here? Anyways, Uneducated Economist. I'm going to get him back on the show soon. Uneducated Economist is really good at pointing out things, you know what I'm saying? I am coming to Victoria, BC for the summer of 2023. Holy crap, that's a long time from now. Okay, so let's go back to some of the news I chose here. So, advisors, more than a third of advisors have to pay their fees back at the banking institution here. NAB's wealth disaster. Here's another bank. There's another loser here from Australia. NAB is bailing out the plans to dispose. So they're just charging customers for members' fees and stuff for services that were not provided. These banks in Australia are the biggest fraudsters A bit worse than the American banks. These guys it's so bad that they have to give people back their money. That's how bad it is. Bank misconduct bill hits $10 billion. $10 billion, not 10 billion pesos. Even 10 billion pesos is a lot of money. $10 billion. So all these banks to repay fees for work they didn't do. Yeah. And that's good. I wish everybody could get some sort of should get justice served and get their money back, the stuff they paid for that they never got. Right? They're going to refund their customers for work they were paid to do but didn't. Marvelous. How much are we looking at here? They said $1 billion, $1 billion bucks. And they're saying from one of the banks, it's 180 million they got to pay back to customers. See, these are all loser banks. These are all losers. They regulate the system. They tell us what to do. They tell us what we could borrow. Over here saying Mike Martin, I believe software is evaluating all our comments. Yeah, for sure. Daniel O'Brien says, I would not be stupid enough to buy now. Of course. Metal Gear Mark III, if you're a fool, buy now. Real Kevin Thompson says, don't wait to buy. Adrian is saying, something has to happen to reset this market. Valentino Rossi saying, hell, U.S. banks are tamed compared to Australian banks. The down under country will be underwater. That's true. I think Al Gore was right about something. It wasn't going to be Florida that was going to be underwater by 2018. It's Australia that's going to be underwater by 2018. Yeah, it's already 2020 pretty much. So there goes that global warming out the window. Who else we got here, man? Who's out there, guys? I know the Raven is out and about. He's working. And he can't... I don't know if he could come on, but I don't want to... we got Real German Instincts in the house here. Let me see if he's available. Nope. He hasn't been on in a while. Yeah, Lord Humongous is saying... Oh, over here has a really good question. How do you see this holiday retail shopping numbers? It's going to be probably one of the lowest we've seen probably since 1982 or 83. It's going to go that low. It's going to be that bad. So the Ravens jumping on a train right now. Someone says to call Steve. Steve just asked where you were. He knows where I am every Wednesday night. Steve knows where I am every single Wednesday night. Let's see if I could find him here on Skype. I can't even find him on Skype here because it's been so long since I spoke to him. Okay, let's see if he picks up. I don't think he's going to pick up, though. That's the problem. He's probably at work.
Who the hell is this?
Steve, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Mike?
I haven't heard from you in, well, it was that wedding, when I was going out to that wedding, remember?
Oh, yeah. How you doing, Mike?
You were, well, why don't you tell us what was, like, you don't have to give us details, but tell us how frustrated you are with this housing market, buddy. You sounded really mad when you called me.
Oh, dude, it's awful. It's awful to the point where, these sellers, especially in the 905, the suburbs, I'm sorry, I don't want to sound racist or anything, but these foreign Asian buyers that are no longer in the country, that overpaid for their real estate, and now are expecting the Canadian proper to bail them out, and, you know, they're holding off on offers, they're listing their house for what it's actually worth, on the open market, and in terms of, you know, a little bit higher than assessed value, but, like, as a whole, what it's actually worth, and what it would appraise out. And this didn't happen not on just one occasion. This has happened on 5 different occasions, okay? And it's happening everywhere in the Greater Toronto suburb areas. Mike, it's horrible. They're going to hold off on offers. And you say, well, screw this. I'm going to give you an offer. You put your offer in. It's a good, solid offer. You know, because your friend's an appraiser, and you've taken the comps. You know what's selling, what isn't selling, and you know that they bought this house for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 at the peak, and they've accepted a $200,000 price decline and a loss, but they're not willing to accept the actual full picture. Subsequently, oh no, your offer's too low. No, what are you talking about? No, we listed at $1 million. My seller wants way more. Well, tell your seller to sign back. I kid you not, Mike. These sellers, are you with me, Mike?
I'm right here. I'm listening to every word you're saying.
It is mind-boggling. Some of them, you'd go in and we just did it for shits and giggles. We put an offer in at $1 over list. $1 over list. And we said, here you go, not a problem. And they were holding off on offers for another 5 days. Do you know from $1 million, okay, guess what they signed back at?
What?
$1,369,000.
What was the extra? What is that? Do you remember? I know I don't want to upset you. I really don't. But do you remember the mansions you could buy for $369,000 in the States?
Yeah, I don't even want to go there, Mike. It is so disproportionate. It's like, I don't know about you, but I've spoken to some pretty wise economists, and they're telling me exactly how everything's playing out with respect to the economy. And, smart minds like the Raven and a few other people that are on your show, including, like, for example, Formafist has got something, as of late, he's been pretty right on the ball. Mm-hmm. And even Evan from Reconical.
Yes.
Formerly,
crypto. I gotta get Evan back on and Formafist on.
Yeah. So these guys have all called exactly what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. The U.S. is in the tank. Let's face it. They're in a recession. They basically announced it the other day.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you see my show this morning? The Great American Recession. America's officially in a recession.
Yeah.
This morning I did that. This morning, here it is. America is in a recession after seeing the repo buybacks and all that crap that's happening, and now with Freightliner plants laying off people and long hauler trucks not being built people getting laid off, the energy sector is getting crippled. It's getting pretty bad, Steve.
Oh yeah, Freightliner laid off a few people, but I mean, hey, what are you going to do? It's bound to happen. I mean, it's as I think the Raven said it too. I think he agreed with me. It's a race to zero, is what it ultimately is.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'll go negative, but
it's the devaluing right to zero, so they could pay back their debts with overinflated currency.
Yeah, so just to give you an idea, I'm going to get the exact verbiage from my solicitor, mm-hmm. and we'll do another show, because anybody who's going to buy real estate on the way down, and it's very hard to time the market unless you're Kevin Thompson.
Right, Kevin Thompson could time the market real well.
Yeah, but you better be the real Kevin Thompson, mm-hmm. because if you're not, you can't do that. No. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's like, let's be real here. So there's actually a verbiage or an amendment you have to do to an offer, because before you put an offer in, you should be checking the land registry. Mm-hmm. Okay. In actual fact, the land registry is public knowledge.
It is.
Your realtor can check on this. They can check when the mortgage was put on there, whether it's a first, second, third, fifth, sixth, whatever the mortgage charge is there, the original amount, what they paid for it. So in a lot of these cases, a lot of these people have paid close to 1.2, in my situation, in terms of the houses that we're looking at, is 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 million, whether it be from the builder or Mr. and Mrs. Smith, whatever it may be. They have $1 million mortgage, a $1.1 million mortgage. And you're going in there and you're saying, well, regrettably, your house is worth $800,000 or $900,000, whatever it may be. And Mike, I can show you the actual comps. Mm-hmm. These are what these houses are worth. So there's actually a verb, a submission you have to put in, an amendment to an offer, right, once they've accepted it, saying that they agree to discharge the first charge mortgage and the second charge mortgage, despite the fact that the actual, like, the house is underwater.
Right.
Like, in other words, they owe more than what the house is worth.
Yes, that's a very common practice. That's very common, like in the United States, the jingle mail, people just turning in their keys and walking away from everything. But the problem with that in Canada is they actually, in Australia and the UK, they actually go after you for life.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You can't go bankrupt. You could go bankrupt, but if you default on a mortgage, they could actually go after you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's insane. Unless you declare bankruptcy.
Yes, you can, but there's still it gets really hard because the whole, the 8-year gap for recovery.
Yeah.
I was speaking to like a very high top managerial guy in the managerial staff with Equifax, and they said the government and other bodies are looking to expand the rebuild process to 22 years instead of 8.
Hang on a second there, Mike.
Yeah.
It's a dog on the leash, off his leash.
Nice. You're lucky, dude.
A pit bull. Oh, I
So
saw
they're
him
looking
under
at
the.
changing the 8-year rebuilding practice to rebuild your credit after you go bankrupt to 22 years.
Yeah.
So your life is ruined basically if you screw over 8 years. It's almost like a stint in San Quentin or in Chino prison, right? But 22 years, forget it. That's a life sentence.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Mike. It's an interesting time, and it's one of those things where I never thought I'd actually see it start to come, but it's finally coming down, and it's coming down hard and fast. Mm-hmm. You with me, Mike?
Apocalypse Gary has a really good comment. He's saying something will break sooner or later. Everyone is still asking $2 million for a crack shack in Vancouver, but instead of bidding wars, these places have been on the market for close to 2 years now.
Yeah, Vancouver's getting the shit kicked out of them. Toronto, despite what organized real estate had to report today, did you hear what Treb put out?
Oh, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, sales are up 46%.
Yeah, I saw that.
Or 43.6%, or whatever it may be. These people are all a bunch of lying. They're all frauds.
Degenerates.
The whole system is.
Listen to this. Today's article. Today. Toronto actually has the most overvalued homes in all of North America.
We're number 2 on the one to watch. So we're in second position.
Yeah. Munich is number 1.
Total. Yeah, we're gonna poop the bed so bad it's not even funny. We are now seeing all these people in a negative equity position finally saying, "Oh, geez, I better sell. Oh, I better sell." And so, it's just like they're selling for, and they've lost $300,000-$500,000 off this overpriced real estate because realistically, it was probably only worth $750,000, $800,000, $900,000 to begin with.
Yeah. Over here saying we'll be seeing capital controls or bank runs. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, we'll be seeing bank runs if people start losing confidence in their government and then in their banking system, and people will run to their banks to withdraw their money. The Raven the other day, was a week or two ago, he tried to take money out of his bank. They gave him a really hard time. I don't know if you remember that on Mike in the Night.
That happened to me yesterday.
Was that?
That happened to me yesterday.
Well, do tell. What happened?
I went in there and I wanted to pull out 5,000 cash. And they're just like, well, sir, you're supposed to call ahead. Excuse me? Is that fucking door, are you open for business? And yes, we are. So you're telling me you don't have at least $5,000 cash on hand when I have hundreds of thousands of dollars in this banking institution? I said, if that's the case, I said, keep your $5,000. I said, I want a certified a bank draft for everything in my bank account now. You
Whoa.
Can't give me 5,000 cash? All right, I want all my money out. And he's like, are you serious? I said, yes, every single one, all my investments, everything. We'll take the next hour, we'll close it all down, right down to my GICs, my cashable GICs,
Yeah.
everything. I'm like, call your manager, call the Pope, I really don't care. We're done here.
Woo! Call
see
the
how-
Pope! Yes.
Yeah. You see how fast that $5,000 came across the table. But they look at you, and they're hopefully the Raven can comment on this. They look at you, Mike, like, why are you taking out $5,000? Why don't you just use your credit card? Like you're a criminal. Like you're going to go buy crack or cocaine
Like
because you need
you
$5,000
can't buy much
cash.
for $5,000 anyway nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some families, that's like 2 months of groceries in Canada.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell? Like, I don't understand. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, this is absolutely stupid. So, there's really nothing I can do. Anyways, so that's what happens. And then next thing you know, the $5,000's coming across the table. They're polite. They're, there's no issues. Oh, everything's fine. But they treat you like you're criminal. Like, why do you need $5,000 cash?
Of your own money that's holding that institution in business.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, it's just like, okay, guys, clear it out, give it all to me, and be done with it. And I even told the manager, I said, you keep this bullshit up, just you wait. I said, I'm like a little dot on the map. I said, you have no idea. I said, the bank runs are going to come, and people are going to come for their money, and they're going to come for hundreds of thousands of dollars every single day until they have it out. You keep pulling this shit, you're going to lose all your deposits.
Hold on a second. Steve, Walking Journey has a video on his channel that he went to the bank of, what bank was it? To pay a bill or something, and they gave him a really hard time. They were going to call the cops on him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, real Kevin Thompson. I told the bank this, the bank manager this, because I have money in the bank. I don't own overvalued real estate.
Right.
And no, stop giving people stupid, unsolicited advice where you can buy a property with 5% down. That's how we got into this problem to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. People should put a nice, healthy 40% down, provided that the houses are within wages. If housing is within wages, Steve, we talked about this a million times. The average benchmark price home should be in around $265,000 to about $445,000 for the average income earner to get into the market. Not $1.2 million for the average home. Average income earners should be able to get into an average home.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I hear you. You're right, Kevin Thompson, in the comments section. I don't have a mortgage with the bank because I don't have a mortgage. I have investments. I have deposits. I don't need to explain my financial situation to you because it's a lot better than yours. And at the end of the day, just please stop giving people unsolicited bad advice. You're the furthest thing qualified. Like, are you even a real estate agent?
Yeah, no. See, Kevin Thompson, I know he's been getting under your skin, and I know he's been getting under your skin. But Kevin Thompson, he's been contributing in the comments for years now. You know that, Steve, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? If we all took Kevin Thompson's advice, we'd all be in a really bad situation right now.
Yeah, he's a professional troll. This is what Metal Gear Mark III.
Yeah. So I got to call Gary Medeiros tomorrow and give him the inside scoop just so that he keeps holding on for a little bit longer. And him and I are in two different situations. So he can stay out of the market for a little bit longer, and it'll probably be a lot better off for him.
Not unless he moves to Atlanta or he moves to Fort Worth, Texas. He could buy a house like this for like $170,000.
Yeah, I know. He's got to wait a good at least another 3 to 6 months till after the election. Figure out and after the election and as soon as that Canadian election's over, I can guarantee you immediate announcement of a recession, and then it's just going to intensify. The banks are really going to tighten up. Really tighten up.
Steve, do you want to come on a panel maybe on Mike in the Night this Saturday if you're awake? If you're not tired, if you want to come on a panel, we're going to be maybe discussing elections. It's only 19 days away.
Yeah, I think I could do that. Let me know who else is going to be
the
around.
Raven and maybe Supreme Cannon.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I'll come on if the real Kevin Thompson comes on.
You know, the real Kevin Thompson has been making it really hard for people in the comment section to understand the direction of where this channel is going.
Well, that's the whole thing, and I'd like to set the record straight so that you know things continue onwards and upwards. Because Mike, what you've done here is brilliant. You've saved a lot of people a lot of heartache, and a lot of financial ruin and hardship. Because I mean, let's face it, if you would have bought property at the height of the market for, let's say, that 1.2, $1.5 million, you would have lost anywhere between $300,000 to $500,000. That's just in the Greater Toronto 905 area.
Oh yeah,
You would have
especially
lost
if you
$300,000
bought
to
in
$500,000.
Richmond Hill.
Richmond Hill, Aurora, Newmarket, Stouffville, some of these great areas that are affluent and are you have everything at your disposal. It's it's crazy. So think about that for a second. That's $300,000 to $500,000, and ladies and gentlemen who are listening to this, whether it's live or on the broadcast, the rebroadcast, $300,000 to $500,000. That's a lot of money. Now, take a look at that for a second and realize that's after tax dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll do you one even more. $300,000 to $500,000. What happens if you borrowed that money, Mike? You not only have to pay tax on it, so you have to, instead of it being $300,000, okay, it's actually $6,000, okay, because you're in a 50% tax bracket, just for argument's sake. Okay, or close to it. Then if you borrowed that amount of money, it was attached to a mortgage. You now have to pay that back with interest. So it's now going to cost you even more, one and a half times more.
I got one for Gary right here. This is in Lake Worth, Florida. Really nice area, an upcoming area for young folks. It's been 7 days on Zillow. $119,000, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,200 square feet. And your estimated monthly payment is $1,100 a month. That includes property tax and all your utilities and bills. That's including your cell phone, too. Wow, they're including everything in this. And everything. $1,119 for a 3 bedroom, 2 bath in Lake Worth, Florida. Does this place have a pool? Does it have a pool? Ooh, it doesn't have a pool, Steve, but it's got a massive backyard, though.
Do you want to know what's going through Gary Medeiros' mind as well as mine? Okay, you said that place is $119,000.
But that's in Lake Worth. It's a nice area.
That's great. So you know what's going through my mind right now? Okay, no problem. Gary, pony up $50K. I'll pony up the other $50K. Okay, you and the Raven can come and visit. Okay, and bring beer and pay a bill every once in a while, and be done with it. But reality sets in, and you have wife and kids and so on and so forth, and we're no longer bachelors, so we can't do all that. Dude, but that just went through my mind.
Dude, this property here has like 5 palm trees on the property.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I don't understand what's going on, and this is what I'm trying to wake people up. Like, if you can't make it where you're at, move. Me too. Look, I couldn't make it in Vancouver, not because I decided that it wasn't a good choice to bury myself. And the same thing with Gary Medeiros. That's why he hasn't bought in, was because he realizes that he doesn't want to bury himself. But the problem with Gary Medeiros is he doesn't want to move away from family. I made that sacrifice and moved away from family. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. But there's a difference, right? Like, your wife's family isn't here, right?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
His wife's family is here. And I don't want to get into Gary's personal business or anything else.
No, we're not getting. I'm saying a lot of people are held hostage because sometimes with family too, right?
Oh, for sure. And me by disclosing that, like Gary, whatever, he is like, yeah, okay, my wife's family's here, my family's here. He's not going to move, to the armpit of Canada, you know what I mean? Or Thunder Bay or whatever. It's just not going to happen. But you, on the other hand, had that flexibility because you didn't have any root. Your wife didn't have any roots here, right? So
Okay.
But yeah, that's where it's at.
Steve, can you grab a screen somewhere and see what I'm showing here, please? Are you
Hang on, buddy.
capable of doing that or no?
Yeah, there's a delay. Hang on.
Okay. Well, this is okay. I'm going to ask you for the price on this. I'm not going to tell the price, but don't look at the screen yet. 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 3,000 square feet in West Palm Beach, Florida, like in a really good area, in the 33412 zip code. And the lot is almost 4,000 square feet. How much do you think this house is worth? 4 bedroom, 4 bath with a massive lot. Hardwood floors, beautiful, beautiful pool.
Well, I mean, it says it's $159,000.
Yeah, for 4 bedroom, 4 bath.
Yeah, I hear you. I understand. So do the conversion on U.S. dollar to Canadian dollar.
206,000.
Okay, there you go. 206,000. Okay, so Mike, unfortunately, I don't want to do this, but let's play the devil's advocate as well. So what's the average? What's the average wage there?
I think the average wage is around 39,000, 40,000 a year. But Florida's a work-free state, so you get taxed less than we do.
I understand. Hey, I'm all for that. I think that is absolutely fantastic. So I mean, if you look at those parameters, and this is like, that's why that house is priced the way that it is, because it couldn't possibly be any more. But here's the kicker. Why the heck in Vancouver and Toronto? I mean, you saying 39,000. Well, I mean, if you look at the average wage in Toronto and in Vancouver, and even if you put an extra 10, 15, call it 20%, it doesn't support houses that are worth $1 million.
Yeah. Lady Justice 23 is saying Florida has no income tax, Steve.
That's right. They have no income tax. That's you're 150% correct.
So this is the problem. So they make less, but they make more in a sense because the buying power is there.
Yeah, I get it. The dollar goes
Why
a
would
little
you
bit.
make 50 okay, $70,000 a year in Vancouver. 70. Okay? And you can't even afford a 1 bedroom. What the hell's the point then?
Yeah.
No,
No,
might as well
I
make
hear
30
you.
grand a year in Florida and actually pay off your house. A 4 bedroom, 4 bath.
Hey, I hear you, pal.
So this is what
I
I'm getting
understand.
at. It's just it's a situation where like you got to move or you have to go somewhere. You have to like take that step. You know, a lot of people take that step. You know what I'm saying, Steve? That's what I've been trying to tell you, Steve, is like maybe relocating somewhere else. And actually you could buy a palace for in and around 200-300 grand in other parts of Canada, right?
Yeah, very true. But I mean, I have a very successful business here, so on and so forth. I'm responsible for many, many, many employees. I can't just shut that down. They all have mortgages and stuff like that and families. I've laid roots down here, but I've done what I needed to do. But now is the situation where I firmly believe within the next year or two, we'll probably see the bottom. But as depending on whether it's foreign money or Canadian proper, you're going to find that, and I can show you the spreadsheet right now of 25 houses we've looked at, and I have mortgages pulled for all of them from the land registry. They all have at least 80 to over 100% mortgaged.
Yeah, they're over leveraged on what the house is worth.
Yep, I could show you that right now, and it's absolutely insane. So get ready for it, because what's happening here is all these people are in a negative equity position, and two things are going to happen: either one, they're going to walk away, or two, the banks, and mark my words, the banks are going to have to go in and make sidebar deals in order to get these people financing, in order for somebody to come in and have clean title on these properties. That is the next big thing that is going to happen. These banks are going to have to come up with a strategy to bail these people out and give them secondary loans that aren't secured by any real estate. And we're not talking about a $50,000 line of credit here. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah, and then but the problem is, a lot of them just can't afford to service these debts.
Well, that's just it. Bankruptcy is going to go through the absolute roof. It's it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So, oh, Kevin Thompson, he should have bought 5 years ago. No, 5 years ago, I still would have been, I would have been underwater.
Yeah,
So.
I wonder where those real estate agents that say, if you don't buy now, you'll forever be bought out of the market for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
remember
it's
those guys, Steve?
Yeah, real estate prices have gone down to about 2014 levels.
Yeah, and they're going to continue, to correct somehow, because wages are not meeting the median income earners, or the average income earners should be getting into the market. First time buyers should be getting into a little shack, but they're not.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. So, I mean, at this point, it's going to be one wild ride, but it's going to take a few years for everything to kind of sort of work itself out. So if you can hold off buying for another year or 3 for that fact, great. But I get it. People need to live somewhere. And I'm not trying to give unsolicited advice, but if you were prudent with your money, you either got out in time, or, for example, you don't own any real estate and you were renting and you were saving, whether you got decent return on your money, or 2 or 3% on your deposits while you were renting and saving for a down payment. I'm not saying going out and buy now, by any way, shape, or form. But you know what? It's hard to catch a falling knife. But I mean, if you can wait a year or more, you're probably, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be a transformation of wealth, Mike, is what it is.
Yep, it's going to affect every human being living in the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Every human being in the Commonwealth, whether you're in Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Canada, it's going to affect everybody. Whether they own, rent, if they own. A lot of people are like, well, Mike, I'm lucky. I don't own anything. No, you rent. You're in trouble too. What if the house you're in defaults?
Oh, yeah, that's the whole thing. And it's funny. The Raven actually just said something just regarding ability to pay or capacity. And capacity in this context is, no ticky, no laundry. So I mean, if your landlord is taking your money, okay, and not making the mortgage payment, or refinanced, or something along those lines, that's another thing. Can you imagine if you're going ahead and you're renting from one of these landlords, and they're not even in the country, and you're sending them the money, and they have $1.1 million mortgage on the property, and all of a sudden the bank comes in and says, whoa, we're calling this mortgage, or what's going on here? They don't renew it, or something like that, and all of a sudden it goes power sale. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's there really is no safe place. But yeah, it was great that the Raven brought that up, because he's absolutely right. In terms of capacity to repay, that's huge.
Well, again, the people that got in on an assumption, or got in on the false pretenses that housing was just going to keep going up. Do you remember about the people that shouldn't be in the markets, that got into the markets we were talking about a year ago? And I said, look, if interest rates, remember a year ago we were arguing that rates need to go up for a healthy economy, and they never did. They did, and then they went right back down because no one could afford to pay. That's what's happening. The people that shouldn't be in the market went in the market, now they're screwed.
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
They're toast. It's over. Repayability is not gonna. It's not. It's irrelevant now. Now it's a point where, like, now what could we do to walk away from this? And yes, okay, maybe we'll take 10, 20 years to rebuild our credit. I'd rather do that than be enslaved, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Mike. I've put in offers. I have an offer in right now. Do I think it's going to get accepted? Well, you know what? If he was smart, he would accept it, because that's truly what the house is worth. But the question is, I know what type of mortgage he has, and I don't think he's going to accept it, because I don't think he can accept it. I think he's going to be a dummy and try to hold out. And, for the next sucker, so on and so forth. And, for an extra, $50,000, $100,000. But I know what his carrying costs are based on 3% interest. And I know he's paying a lot more than 3%. But as a benchmark, or for the purpose of this conversation, it being 3% on $1 million mortgage, because he's got a million, just shy of $1.1 million mortgage. Okay? Think about that for a second. What that mortgage payment, I know what the taxes are. I know what the heat, the hydro is, so on and so forth.
Can you tell us what the taxes are, Steve? So people in the States could freak out when they're saying, I'm paying $1,800 a year in property tax.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. This guy's probably paying about a little more than half of that every month. So property taxes are about $8,000 a year.
Yeah.
Give or take.
So when people down in Kissimmee, Florida say, I had to pay $900 in property tax last year, they're too high.
Fuck. Yeah. That's just crazy. Anyways, long story made short, his carrying costs are anywhere between $9,000 and $10,000 a month, Mike.
Dude, Scarface's mansion and all that cocaine wasn't even costing him $9,000 to $10,000 a month.
Yeah, it's yeah. Oh, I guess, Mike. I don't have all the answers. I'll keep you posted. I will let you go. It was so good to be with you, Mike. I want someone else to call in. Hopefully, the Raven can call in.
I'm gonna go to bed, dude. I've been almost talking for 2 hours, and it's been a long while here. I've been here. I want to put my kids to bed. It's almost 8:30 here, and yeah. Well, we'll be back on Mike in the Night. It's almost 2 hours, buddy. I've been talking here for a long time, buddy.
Well, then there you go, man. I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate the chat again. So good to be with you, and we'll talk real soon.
God bless you, buddy.
Cheers, buddy. Take care.
That is Steve the plumber in the house. So you want to play?
Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. Uno. Say hello to my little friend. Say hello to my little friend. Okay. Uno. Say hello to my little friend.
Oh, yeah. Say hello to my little friend. Oh, okay, guys. I wanted to throw this out there for you guys. I love you guys, man. I really do. That's why I'm always hustling for you guys. Guys, if you can, don't forget to tip me on my tip jar in PayPal. Become a Patreon supporter, $1 a month. I lost one Patreon supporter. I'm down to 16. My dream is to have 20 Patreon supporters by Christmas. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram here. I'll put a link for my Instagram down here. There's an Instagram here. Guys, follow me on Instagram if you want. Free and clear land. Follow me on Instagram, guys, if you're bored. And what else? Here's my Patreon link, guys. If you want to support me on Patreon, you could do that. And I've been using I've been a good boy. All the Patreon money has been going to actual stuff. Like it's actually been going to buy stuff for the transmission here. Rainier Mullah says, over here, thank God I don't. I enjoyed my $140 semester education. Yeah. Lord Humongous wants to pinch my cheeks. Guys, here's the tip jar if you want to send the tip. And I'm always hustling. Every day I'm hustling for you guys. Back over here one more time.
Do you want to play rough? Okay.
You want to play rough?
Say hello to my little friend.
I even have that suit. I wore it on my channel. I even have the same suit he's wearing. But it's way back. I think it was on Mike in the Night. Let me see if I could find it here. It's way back here on Mike in the Night. I think it was Hate Against Crab, Mike in the Night. I think it was this Mike in the Night. Your predictions. It was one of these Mike in the Nights, and I was wearing that Scarface suit. And everyone said I was dressed like John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever. Yeah, the Ravens jumping on the train. Cheers, everyone. God bless. Thank you so much, everybody, for being part of this and this transmission. I'm gonna go tuck my kids in. And thanks so much. Thanks, Gary, for coming on. Thanks, Owen, for being here the whole show. Thanks, Lord Humongous, for coming on. Thanks, Laura Scratcher. And Kevin Thompson, of course. Choo Choo. Thank you so much, Kevin Thompson. And also in the comments section on Skype, everyone sending comments on Skype. I want to thank Crazy Tracy for sending me that email that I'm going to read tomorrow. Crazy Tracy sent me an email about what's happening right now in California. And she's right in the middle of everything. And she is having a really tough time selling her property because it's right in the middle of what's happening in that crisis, homeless crisis there on her street. She's having a really tough time selling her home. So we'll try and get Crazy Tracy on the show next week, and we'll get a follow-up on what's happening. So, okay, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.